Sujin, philanthropist, advocate, founder, soon-to-be mother of two. You good?
I don't know. You ask me that all the time.
You always say you don't know.
I don't know. A lot of times it's a yes. And I don't know. We'll see. We shall see.
We shall see. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Hey, Suj.
Hi.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm really honored. Very excited.
The honor is all mine.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like you've been with me through a lot of iterations of my professional journey. We met because I did your wedding. I did the music at your wedding.
You didn't come to my wedding. But
I had two other weddings that night.
But you did my wedding and it was beautiful.
I know. And we've become such close friends.
I still remember the first phone call we had, not related to the wedding, but I was interviewing people for something I can't remember. Mm-hmm. And I just remember like getting off the phone, being like, she is the most open-hearted person. And I just felt, and it was over the phone. And I think this was right after you had your second son. I felt the energy, the positive, open energy through the phone, which is not easy. And I think you felt the energy that I had at the time over the phone as well.
Yeah.
And then we met up when I moved here.
I know. And we just can't get enough of each other since we reconnected. Where do we begin? There's so many things, our home lives, my professional life, your professional life are so intertwined. And we have so much in common. And I look up to you as a friend who can give me honest, straight advice and kind of cut things down the middle, and also someone I can just be so real with. I was shocked when I met you in person how real you were.
Because I wasn't so real on the phone. I was a version of myself, which is still in me.
Yes, but you were just straightforward. You were a bride. You wanted to have the perfect wedding. And I just came home and was like, Greg, I met my new best friend. Like, Sujin's going to be my best friend. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, she's super cool.
Thank you.
You have had quite a journey in life.
I have.
You have seen it all. And many cultures, many economic states, a wealth of experience, truly. And you're a successful person in that you are just who you are, and you show up to the table just being you. What does inner success mean to you?
That's a really deep question. It's changed a lot. If you were to ask me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have listed out all these laundry list of things that I needed to do to become successful. You need to have those degrees. You need to make this much money. You need to, wear this kind of clothes and have these kind of friends. And a lot of that came from how I was raised. Mm-hmm. My father is a brilliant, ambitious man, and he's one of the most impactful person that's really shaped who I am. And a lot of the similarities, ambition and driven and brilliant, all of that is in me. But he also taught me that definition of success is very rigid. And I'm sure every parent doesn't intend to do certain things that will severely impact your child in a negative way or whatever. It's what they know. And what he knew is that in order to be successful in his age, in his time in South Korea, you had to have the degrees and this and that. And so I grew up thinking that inner success has everything to do with how others validate you with your degrees, what you do for a living. I checked all those boxes. I spent my early years getting to that point. I went to law school. I went to grad school. I went to one of the best schools in the country. And without knowing why, I just did it because I was told you have to be successful. My dad used to say, I expect you to be the next president or senator or someone like Hillary Clinton.
You.
Oh, it was like without a doubt. It's like you are going to be that.
Are you living his dream now?
No. Oh my God. But I don't give a shit anymore.
Right.
But I used to. The courage for me to kind of redefine what inner success means. We can talk about that. It's a recent thing. I would say it's in my early.
When did it change? Like, when was there an aha moment when you're like, oh, I need to actually look within?
Yeah. It was a combination of things. One, when I got my law degree from NYU, after working so hard and being so miserable, because I fall asleep reading like a page. Like, I'm not meant to go to law school. Like, I fall asleep. But imagine, like, you got to read thousands of cases a day, like, to get through law school. It was the most miserable experience, but I got through it. So I was like, this is what you meant to do. You have to be successful.
And then you were going to be a lawyer, or you were going to do something.
When I got that degree, I remember feeling so empty and depressed. Because I was like, I'm supposed to be happy and proud, and now I'm successful. But I felt so the opposite. Mm-hmm. So it's checking all these boxes and realizing that actually doesn't bring you this fulfilling feeling inside. Mm-hmm. It's that plus meeting my husband, who is literally the opposite of me, in that he does not, like, truly, like, I've never met anyone who does not give a fuck. I'm sorry if I'm swear.
You can swear.
He does not care what anyone thinks. Like, it's so empowering. I care a little. I still care.
Oh my gosh, of course I care.
He literally, there could be, like, the world coming to an end, and he'll be like, I'm good. Like, he is not affected by external validation, applauses, compliments. Like, if you actually want to, like, be his friend, you gotta, like, not do any of that, because he is actually turned off by.
Well, do you think it's because so many people were putting on a show for him his whole life?
Probably. I think it's that plus just who he is, how he was born.
It's how he was born, and then it might have been exacerbated 100%. By his circumstances.
And learning that, like, I remember going on a first date with him, and all my other boyfriends or, like, dates have been like, I'm, like, an impressive woman. Like, I've done, like, school. I'm a smart girl. I've been, like, I lived here and there. Like, he's going to be impressed by that. Like, I remember just feeling like he's going to, like, think I'm X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That's external. Whether it's your beauty or your achievements. He, like, didn't ask me a single question about what I do. I was like, oh my God, this guy is, like, so weird. But I learned over time that what he actually cares about is who I am, how I feel, and what makes me happy and fulfilled. So being with him gave me a courage for the first time to allow myself to let go of these externally driven validations, and allow myself to explore who I am beyond what's on paper and what other people think of me. Those two things were really the pivotal moments, is realizing that I still don't feel good after checking all these boxes and achieving this
for
success.
Maybe someone else, or
for somebody else, or what the world thought, or what looked impressive,
which doesn't really exist. Like, perception, they say, doesn't exist because everyone else is living in their own paradigm.
Exactly.
Which has nothing to do with yours.
Nothing to do with mine. And then meeting my husband and, spending time with him kind of taught me to see things differently.
Gives you a lot of strength.
Yeah, and see things for who you are, just as a core of a human being. Like, he doesn't give a fuck if you're like, I'm, like, a smart or a beautiful, like, it's not what drives him to come to you.
Right.
It's like, who are you?
I love your perspective because I have a different one. I was raised with parents who challenged us to look within every day. And I looked so deep within that I forgot about the outside world.
But that's really rare.
It's super rare.
And it's beautiful.
It's super beautiful. So you really kind of understand who you are and try to accept and try to love who you are. You know, it's a lifelong journey. But I really think that going to school and getting all these accolades, while they might not completely fulfill you, they were important in your journey. They are amazing.
I mean, for me, even though I say that it crippled me in many ways, it was my only way out.
Yeah. Out of what?
To get to, you know, it reminds me of, I'm going to quote Jay-Z. I'm going to butcher this, but he says something along the lines in one of his songs, people look at me differently as if I worked this hard to be the same. Meaning, I know I've changed. The whole point of working hard is so that I can get to a next level. I don't want to be here in this static place. I want to grow. And for me, education, going to a good college was my access to a bigger world. I didn't grow up with, my dad was a diplomat, and so sure, he was privileged in his country. We never had to wait in lines when we were living in South Korea. We got lots of, like when we went to Disneyland, I think like somebody showed up to like show us around. Like all of that was there, but like we didn't have any like wealth or lots of privilege a lot of kids have with connections. None of that, especially when we moved to the UK. So I was born in South Korea, moved to the UK when I was 5. We didn't know that there is this concept of wealthy or poor neighborhoods typically come with high crime rates, like this idea of that doesn't exist in South Korea because everyone is, you know, I mean, there's poor and there's wealthy, but this idea of ghetto or like being on the street, doesn't really exist. And so we were put in Birmingham because my dad's job was in Birmingham in the UK. And Birmingham is not London. It's not fancy. It is a working class, industrial, not a good place to, you know, have children. It's dangerous. But it's also beautiful because it was one of the most diverse cities in England. We have Pakistanis, Indians, Jamaicans, not many Asians, but it was a very diverse but working class city. And if I had no desire if my dad didn't push me to remind me that you're not stuck here, you actually have a way out, and the way to move out of this neighborhood is school, I would have probably had like 5 babies when I was like 13, because a lot of my friends did. And so,
wow.
Yeah, and that's who I grew up with. So
you had a lot of grit.
I am a fighter. Like
that's what I love about you.
I can like walk down the street and know exactly who's
where,
carrying the drugs
what.
And doing that, and not to be on this street because something doesn't feel right. Like I had to grow up really early because I was living in Birmingham and my dad wasn't around to really be the parent, and my mother was new to the country, and so she has no idea what the hell is going on. She was just doing her best, but nobody was guiding me through like how to navigate the streets of Birmingham.
Yeah.
You know, I would get on the bus every morning to go to school. It was a double-decker bus. If you don't want to get bullied, and bullying is not like a mean girl bully. It's like, no, you get like hit in the face or punched in the face and you get your cell phone stolen. Like that's the kind of thing you're dealing with when you're 14. You got to like fit in with that crowd. And so I would go, you have to sit up in order to fit in with the crowd, like the people who are like stealing stuff.
Who are bullying.
You sit in the back upstairs of the double-decker bus, and you like smoke cigarettes. And this is like when I'm like 12, 13. And I remember just feeling so scared every day to go to school, to get on the bus. But I was so I would tell myself I'd rather fit in and not get bullied. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm
a bully.
Yeah. And I'm a strong fighter. And so I would get on the bus and I would like literally like act like one of them, smoke cigarettes. That's how I grew up. But I always knew, unlike a lot of my friends back home, that I had a way out because I did have a choice because my dad.
Because of your dad.
Because of my dad. And
What
that this was not permanent. This was a temporary. My dad had a job post there. It was temporary. We would eventually leave. So I always had a sense of hope that this is not it for me. So I think that gave me this courage to keep going and, because I knew that I'm not going to just end up here.
But it takes a lot of perseverance.
100%. And a lot of growing up at a young age. Like, I have this jaw problem now, and my chiropractor's always like,
what is it?
It's TMJ, and like, it's when you clench too much. He's like, did you grow up like in a fight? Like, what did you do? Were you a wrestler? Like, why are you always like on guard? And I'm like, because I had to be on guard for a very long time. And in many ways, I'm still on guard. Like, as a woman and someone who looks different from the majority, like, I'm always a little bit on guard. So education was and is, for so many people, the only way access to a better path or bigger world.
Right.
I went to NYU. All of a sudden, I was sitting next to a friend whose parents knew the dean of NYU. I'm like, I thought NYU was like something that I could never achieve. Like, it's just, but you're sitting next to each other and you're now peers. And so education can do that for you if you come from a place of not being privileged.
Wow. I mean, people can look at your life from the outside and think,
oh my God, I know. They all think I'm this fancy, like.
Well, you are fancy now.
Some time with me.
But you're the realest fancy girl I know. It's true.
It's interesting though.
And that is why we can get down and we can get so quickly and so easily because it's because of where you come from.
What's really interesting though? People's perceptions always, like, when I show them picture of me as a kid in Birmingham with, like, I used to perm my hair like a afro, like I literally had an afro. I have to show it to you. And like, I basically dyed my hair orange. I did not look like this. I looked like a different version of me. They're like, this is not you. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But another thing I learned through my husband is we are so opposites in so many ways. We literally come from two very different worlds. And you would think, what kind of hardships have you had? You never had to be on the street the way I used to, like, but everyone has
their own inner work to do, no matter the amount.
And everyone has their struggles. And
that's for sure.
As different as we are so similar in some ways.
I know you are.
I understand him and he understands me, even though the experiences were so different.
I feel like you guys also both feel like an individual and authentic in your own outside experience while being on the inside. Yeah. I mean, how many other Korean families were in Birmingham? How many Korean friends do you have today?
Not many, unfortunately.
So, I mean, whatever, for better or for worse, we all are just trying to fit in and be loved and things.
Yeah.
But the things that make us different sometimes are our greatest assets and are the biggest things we have to overcome.
100%. And I actually gravitate towards, I think it's because I was othered so much. I was so different, and fitting in felt like almost impossible because I physically look different and I come from so many weird backgrounds of, I was a Birmingham girl and now I'm like in New York, and I gravitate towards people who are very different and who are unapologetically themselves, and you're one of them.
Thank you.
And my husband is very different.
Yep.
And he's not apologizing for it at all. And so I actually gravitate towards people who have been othered in some ways, or who are so themselves that some people find it very uncomfortable, but I find it their superpower.
Right, like that's what inner success is. It's kind of just being yourself.
Embracing it.
And embracing yourself.
And that's hard. It's so hard.
It's so hard. It's a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Even when you have all the money in the world, or you have it's just money.
I know.
Or it's just fame, or it's just clothing and the bag and the shoe and the house. It's just, it starts and it ends there.
Exactly.
People think that when you
have that, it will bring you that
something
thing that's missing. It's not.
It'll fill up that hole. So do you think you've changed? Obviously you've changed, but you're the Jay-Z quote. Like,
yeah, I go by that. Like when people tell me, I'm like, thanks. I take it as a compliment that I've changed.
You've changed.
I'm like, yeah, I know. I want to change. I want to evolve. I don't want to be who I was like 20 years ago. Like I was still growing, and I'm going to continue to grow. So I've changed in many ways, but the inner core of, I think, who I am is there. It's always been there. That's not going to change.
It's a lot. It's kind of a big deal. Where you are, where you've come from, it's a pretty big deal.
Thank you.
What are you manifesting for the future besides a healthy baby?
Oh my God. Healthy baby for sure. A couple of things, and this is a testament to how much I've changed for the better. If you were to ask me like 5 years ago, what are you manifesting? I would give you like a list. I want to be like making this much money. I want to be like doing this and have this job. Like, I don't think like that anymore. I am manifesting to be a good mother and a good partner who also can make a positive impact in some ways with what I'm doing. So as you know, I'm working on a business with my dear partner, Sarah, who you know. And the reason why we're doing it is it really started because I wanted to help mothers, families get more support when they first have a baby. It's that simple, because it fucking sucks. Like, it's so much...
It's lonely.
It's lonely. It's so hard. Your body is not your body. Like, it's really hard experience. And I wanted to change that by creating a place that gives support, gives community, gives tools to families. And so I don't really care what the result of that is. It may become externally validated, successful business, or it may only touch a few. I don't know. And I frankly don't care. And it took me a really long time to let go of that. But like, I'm there where I'm like, if I can make a difference, 3 families' lives, them being a part of this Oran journey, like, I'm good. 'Cause I'm not trying to like prove anything. I'm not trying to be the next unicorn and be on Forbes magazine. Like, if that happens, that's fucking great. Like, but if it doesn't happen, that's okay too. So manifesting for everything that I'm doing with my life to have an impact.
Thank you for sharing your story and being so honest with the
Thank
listeners.
you.
I mean, it's important, like, hearing where you came from and
thank you for
hearing
seeing
where
me.
you are now. Oh my gosh,
I really mean that. I want to hold your hand when I say that. It means a lot when people see me and when you have that impact on people. Like, I know that you see people and you always, it's a gift. And the fact that your son, like, I know that no matter where he goes and what he does, he's going to be just fine because you see him and you make him know that you see him. And you did that for me. And that's a gift. And I just want to say I'm very grateful and I love you.